So I very quickly explained, while I think I was inaudible, the organization within the Federal Council. The key points are that it's a top-level priority. We have a Federal Council Cyber Committee with the federal councillors from the Department of Finance, Department of Justice and Police, and the Department of the Protection of Civil Society and Sport. And we have the cyber prosecution, cyber security, and cyber defense, and the responsibility are assigned to said departments. It is my role as Federal Cyber Security Delegate to coordinate everything. For this, I have the Cyber Core Group within government, and I have the NCS Steering Committee, which is the strategic steering committee for the realization of the national cybersecurity strategy. And I just highlighted, space is not hugely represented with a project, but if you feel that should change, approach me and let's talk about this. Two quick examples from the national cybersecurity strategy that are actually relevant for you. At least I think they should be relevant. So one thing is we have some absolute strategic assets and capabilities within Switzerland. And especially when it comes to space, the education sector is very, very important. We actually, together with the EPFL and ETH Zurich, there was the Swiss Support Center for Cybersecurity founded, and an initial concept was created. And this is basically our main contact to also discuss strategic scientific requirements within cybersecurity. Federal Councillor Viola Amherd also mentioned the Cyber Defense Campus that does the research, that also collaborates with the education system. So that's very, very important asset of Switzerland and important to also focus on cyber and space. Also, and that's equally important, and we'll talk a little bit more about that, there is a website. It was generated in collaboration with ICT Switzerland, which gives tools to assess cybersecurity with a special focus on SMEs. So if you are an SMEs, if you're not that so sure about the security of your own company, that's a thing to use, and there will be more to come. So let's now talk about cyber and space, or cyberspace. Right? Is this an all new topic? No, actually, it's not. And maybe some of you know what this image means. Actually, on April 27, 1986, an American electric engineer and business owner, John R. McDougall, actually jammed the satellite signal on Galaxy 1 and put that message up for the HBO viewers at the time to see. There was a dispute, actually. Should you pay for TV? So payment was introduced for cable TV and later also for satellite TV. It was a little bit more expensive there. $12 today would be $30. And that was his way of protesting. He called himself Captain Midnight. And actually, HBO tried to counteract by increasing the signal strength. But this resulted in a 90 seconds battle, ramping up the signal strength before actually it was feared that the satellite might be damaged, and the whole thing was aborted. Captain Midnight sort of stopped his jamming and later even regretted it. It led to a fine, but it's one of the very, very early satellite hacking stories, I'd say. Now, why is our secure space systems relevant? I'll brush over this. You will talk about this in more detail, but a critical infrastructure depends on space system. Clock synchronization, GPS positioning, ATMs would not function without them. Logistics without GPS today would be impossible on that scale. I do think you know better than I how connected this world is and the increasing importance of space. Especially with the Internet of Things, this dependency will only increase. Then also space systems are relevant for national security. Just yesterday it was announced that Switzerland is entering a collaboration with the French to actually access satellite data for conducting intelligence. Intelligence is one part. The second part is also communication. Satellite communication is crucial also for security agencies. Also, there is a big relevance in disaster and crisis prevention, be it climate monitoring, detection of tsunamis, or also I saw a very interesting project last year when I visited Japan, where basically movement of buildings is measured in order from space, actually, in order to detect earthquakes and buildings that are at the danger to collapse. Also, space systems are increasingly used for commodity goods. I myself, I like to drive motorcycles, and I took up some amateurish rally racing or also off-road riding, and actually having one of the gadgets with you that allow you, in the case of an emergency, to use satellite communication to actually alert emergency services is absolutely crucial there. Now, let me briefly talk about cybersecurity in the space industry. And I would like to look at two levels. On a national level, it's absolutely important. Space contributes to a flourishing economy and a prosperous society. And that's not only in Switzerland, that's all across the globe. And I do think Switzerland, with its innovation, contributes to that, but also with our collaborative approach and especially our relations to not only the European Space Agency, but also NASA on a smaller scale. I do think we can give a good contribution there. Also, the space industry is crucial to Switzerland's position as a center of research. Now, one thing that we might overlook when we talk about space and cybersecurity, we talk about satellite communication and the like, but also it's important. There are a lot of businesses, some of them rather small, that do have absolutely amazing assets. And the security of this intellectual property is crucial. And we see a lot of cyber incidents in Switzerland in general, not just focused on the cyber security, on the space companies, but we see attacks that are successful because some baseline security was ignored, or because companies were not aware about the value of those assets, not only for themselves, but actually for the whole ecosystem. So protecting your intellectual property is not only protecting yourself, but it's also a contribution to the whole sector. Then manufacturing, be it fairings or solar shields or the like, there is a manufacturing process behind it, and the increasing automation of manufacturing and the importance of the correctness of measuring data, the integrity of data, leads to many cybersecurity challenges across this production chain, be it from 3D modeling up to the final product. And by the way, talking about 3D modeling, so I read a little bit on antenna that was used that was done using some 3D printing with innovation from EPFL. Now, I'm not a 3D printing on that level, but to get in the mood, I printed that small rocket yesterday. You can't really see it with the overlay of the screen, but you get the idea. So new technologies come into life. New technology will also bring new security challenges. Switzerland and cyberspace, is this a natural fit? And in my opinion, it is. In space, the tradition goes way back. For example, Switzerland was part of the Apollo 11 mission with the contribution of a solar sail developed by the University of Bern together with ETH Zurich in 1969. Also, we do have very strong innovation in cybersecurity. For example, at ETH Zurich, the Cyan routing protocol, a much more secure routing protocol than the widely used OSPF today, was developed, and it can be overlain on any infrastructure basically, and also makes communication thus more secure. Security of communication is key. It is important to be able to communicate, as I highlighted, and this routing protocol allows you to define your routes at the edge and basically avoid some geographic locations or some infrastructures at all cost, for example. Also, we have academic excellence and focus on research, for example, the Space Center at the EPFL. We have strong industry players in space, but also in cybersecurity. There are just too many to name, but we heard quantum cryptography developments. We have developments in technology, be it for clocks, atomic clocks, or other important. And I do think it's just a natural fit. It's engineering sciences. And while IT sometimes is a little bit sloppy about the engineering part, in security, especially building secure systems is also building a correct systems. And especially when it comes to spice and precision, this is a thought model that is not very far or actually very close to the thought model of traditional space engineers. And of course, also Switzerland can well collaborate internationally. Not only within Europe, but really on a global level. Also, when it comes to policy making, and space and policy is a very close topic, international collaboration, especially through the International Geneva, is absolutely possible. And I do think easier than it might be otherwise. With that, I would like to come to the end of my presentation. Thank you for your patience. And if you have more in-depth questions, feel free to contact me. Thank you very much.